Hello, everyone, and welcome to our YouTube program. Our live stream is coming to you on this beautiful Mother's Day, and I'm wishing all the mothers here a really happy and blissful day. So, unfortunately, we are in a time of COVID, but we're hoping that you are going to be doing the best out of it, making the best out of it. And all your kids have been giving you lots of presents and been sharing you with a lot of flowers. Yeah, so with not much more to say, I've got Brett here as well, so I'm just going to blend in Brett. How you going, Brett? How's things?
Hey, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Yeah,
happy Mother's Day. Yeah.
Hi, Mark. Welcome. Thank you for allowing me to join you once again for another show. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Riff.
Yeah, Michelle is here early, and I'm early. I'm very keen. That's very good, Michelle. It's good to hear. And Riss has come in as well, getting the best spot. Why does that picture always... I keep thinking it's a helmet. I don't know why, but it's just... From a distance, at first glance, I think it's sort of like a motorbike helmet. And someone looking at me. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, that's... so, hi, lady, says Brett. Yeah, so... and Riss says, hi, Brett. Okay, so just leave me out. Forget about me. Yeah, so, Brett, what has been happening with you in your life? Tell me more. How was your Mother's Day today?
Had a pretty lazy day. Just had we've had a home cooked meal.
Home cooked meal.
Lunch. Yeah, lasagna and some dessert and everything to go on top, and just spending the day with my mother and my partner's mother, and spoiling them. And other than that, just not a great deal. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, with me is you probably know that my mother has passed away, so I don't celebrate Mother's Day anymore. I mean, my celebration is just maybe giving my brother a call and having a bit of a chat with him, and I'll be bringing up when we actually do the show and tell photos. I'll bring up some pictures of my mother. Actually, that's something I actually am looking forward to doing and sharing with my fellow friends here. Oh, hello, Mark. Okay, I'll forgive you this time, Michelle. So, with not much to say about anything else, I mean, we can just sort of, because the week has been a little bit flat. I mean, there's just been sort of like a bit of talk about maybe a new Sony camera coming up, and maybe it being an RX camera, an RX replacement. But we'll just get more into that later on in the show. It's all rumors at the moment, and people are talking about it now, but I'm not sure which direction that is going to go and which way that's going to go. And there's also talk about new lenses, etc. So right now everything is a rumor, and everyone wants to sort of be the first person to, I told you so. You weren't in here when I said, hi, Brett. Oh, wasn't I? Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, so I just disappeared. Hi, Michelle. Says Michelle. Says Riz. Oh, congratulations, Riz, by the way, with your... how do you do it? Like another magazine cover? Well done. I hope you're getting a lot of money from it. Make money out of it. Roll it into money. Has to become a profession. There was actually I don't know if people know about Jason Boland. Jason Boland is actually I think he resides here in Queensland. I think he lives down in Surfers Paradise. He is a photographer for movies, etc. So he does all the stills, like Mad Max. All the posters from Mad Max. He's done a lot of work, and he goes live on YouTube as well a lot, and talks with famous or fellow photographers, etc. And he was actually interviewing the photographer for Game of Thrones. So if someone is interested, just have a look up Jason Boland, and I just wanted to throw that in because he's one of my mates. So, okay, so yeah, sorry, Brett.
Hello, Laura. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you here.
Hey, Lauren, how's Melbourne is getting closer and closer, isn't it? So I heard that you got your lease all sorted out and everything, so it's all ready to go.
And by the way, that you mentioned about risks about making money with her images. During when I show you two of my images later in the show, I will discuss a bit on about marking your images too. By the way, so please listen for that. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Facebook cover page, not making money but gaining confidence. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, initially you have to get yourself out there and become known, etc. risks, and I just don't know where you want to take all this, but eventually you got to cut a line where you turn around and say, well, I cannot do this for free anymore. I got to draw a line, but that is entirely up to you, of course. You know, so.
Hello, Daniel. Welcome.
So Lauren, and I'm just going to catch up with all the less than 3 weeks to go, says Lauren. And Daniel is here. How you going, Daniel? Yeah, I had a long chat with Daniel on Messenger, and it got to the point where I just got really hungry and I had to leave. Daniel Ockerlund is are you an ambassador for Small Rig, Daniel? I'm not 100% sure. How would you describe yourself there? But I know Daniel has got a lot of, he's doing a lot of work with Small Rig. So when you actually see new gear coming out, Daniel had his hands in it in development. Yeah. So yeah. So hello from Netherlands. That's where you are from, yeah. Daniel. Yes. How's everything going in Netherlands? The restriction easing up? Let me know. Yeah, so with that being said, let's just go into the show and tell picture, shall we, Brett?
Yes.
What have you got to give to us? Do you have something to show us?
Well, I'll start sharing my screen to you.
Yeah.
And now we're going that. Right, the first image that I got up,
there's advertising straight away, Ipswich. Well, Ipswich is a small town in Australia. If someone wants to, is not sure what that is.
This is this floating images hot air balloon. They do their they obviously take people up in the morning and look down, over the valleys and that and so forth. So. But I spent a whole morning from like 5 on, well actually probably a bit earlier than that, and this place is around the Lowood district near Wivenhoe in Esk. But I was looking for some work photography to do, landscapes and that, and as you can see in the background there was a lot of fog that morning. Very beautiful sunrise.
You can just see it. Is that fire or is that fog?
No, that's fog. Fog. This was a couple of years ago.
So it's fog.
But I was racing around and I saw the hot air balloon flying around, and I thought I would track this and track it and see where it lands and that. And I ended up driving many kilometres chasing this thing and trying to get some really nice photos, and I was lucky that I managed to track it down and get into the place where it was coming down. So this image is showing the balloon just about to touch behind the dam here. The dam's in front of it. They land in this paddock, so they don't really have a lot of control where they land. So,
well, wherever the wind carries them, really, isn't it? I mean, they can go up into different layers of winds and maybe
Yeah,
control it
yeah.
that way. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a balloonist or anything. Not trying to make myself out to be one, but I
Yeah.
just know about ballast and actually more
Yeah.
gas brings you up more. So yeah, it's a very interesting sport, isn't it?
Yep. Now, this image was taken with my A7 III, I believe. I'd better double check that because it was a while back now. So
Yeah, I mean it's really dramatic skies that you've actually got there, and
yep,
you
taken.
know, being able
It
to
was
see
taken with my A7 III and my 70-200 f4 G lens. This was almost blacked out. 188 mil. So here where I was, there's a road just behind the camera of the scene here. There's a road. My car was parked on the other side, and there was actually another photographer there too, doing the same.
Was this balloon just lifting off, or was it coming down?
Landing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually like there's a water. Isn't there water like a?
That's a dam.
There's a dam, so they must have been thinking, "Oh, damn, damn, not the dam."
But I did. This was probably one of the better shots I took. I did take a horizontal, but I thought this one was actually far better. And this is the one that when I actually posted up into Instagram, I actually tagged Floating Images, and they reshared it on Instagram. And this was going to get to the point where I said to Riss about selling images. When they had noticed that they knew I was taking the photos on the day because I spoke to the owner, and that after they obviously packed up their balloon and all that, and introduced myself, and so. But you got to understand, people, that they didn't ask me to do this. This is what I've done for myself. I just wanted to get something different. I was going in for doing landscapes. But I was having trouble finding decent areas and that, and I thought I saw this hot air balloon and I tracked it, and I just kept following it till I could get photos. Yeah. It was something I'd never done before. You can almost say I was a bit like paparazzi, sort of style photography. But anyhow, after these guys had reposted the image on their site on Instagram, I got an email about 2 weeks later on asking if they could use the images for their businesses.
Yeah, obviously.
Look, I was no problem, but there is a license fee.
Yeah, exactly. It gets to the point where you, if you start doing this professionally, or you start thinking about what people are asking you, a lot of people think, oh, great, I'm going to get my picture published. But then, it's you got to think about the laziness from these editors that actually want to grab your picture for free. So, and yet they are publishing it in a magazine where they're doing advertisement, etc. So they are gaining money from that from your cover picture. So they should be sharing their profits with you, so that you should be charging them for the actual cover if they have got advertisement and it's a not free magazine. So if people have to pay for magazine for buying a magazine, then there should be money in there for you, obviously.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I never heard back from after there is a feed. But other companies have got to realise too. Yes, I'm a working photographer as well too. In this case, it was like a freelance, and and like I said right from the beginning, they didn't ask me to do it. It was my decision that's what I was going to do that morning when I saw it. So, but look, at the end of the day, when you think about how many kilometres I spent in fuel and my time, and taking the shots and so forth, and that's money to me. And I need to get paid somehow too.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, at least get your overheads paid when you think about the fuel that you spend for the day, and it's also a day where you don't do anything else but chasing up this balloon. So
Yeah.
you know, you want to get it paid. If someone wants the picture for free, I just find it a bit. I mean, it's okay when you first start off and you want to become known, etc. If it suits you. So I mean, it's in the end, don't let that go on for too much longer because you really need
It's
to
funny that,
look into
you know,
marketing.
they obviously saw the photos and they
Yep.
got produced and they were quite impressed with the image, and I captured their business,
Yep.
you know, and it
Too
should
right.
be fair to understand that if they want to use my images, I'm more than happy to share the images, but it does come at a fee, and you know, it's the same with any other business. So
Yeah.
businesses have got to help other businesses out.
Yeah, we know
No.
Riz wants to get into motorsport there, Brett, and shooting Sony one day, dream of mine. Yeah, look, I mean, you know, you got to keep on pushing it and pushing forward. You know, like if you are putting that into your head that you want to become that one day, that is your direction, and that's what you should be doing. There is a lot of inspiration that actually comes from other photographers that actually do sports photography, etc., and they are so gun-ho on it all the time.
Yep.
And they shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, even if it's just
Yep.
school sports or God knows whatever else, and they get themselves fully into that. Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm
good
going
on
to
you.
go to my second.
Sorry about the noise. Road noise.
Right. This I call this shot seafood restaurant, and as the image shows, obviously two seagulls feeding on a fish, and obviously the fish, it came from a fisherman that was fishing in the beach. This is at Gold Coast beach. So the original shot was not like this. The original shot was showing the background, the Gold Coast in the background. So it was done in a portrait shot.
Yep.
And I just cropped it down to narrow down to this a square crop to narrow, and it's pretty much like you can almost say it's pretty much a bird portrait or whatever, but it's actually focusing what the birds are doing. And you can see the incredible detail when I zoomed in. I think I was only 99 millimeters, so nearly 100 millimeters. With
So what did you
72
shoot that with? Was that the 70 to 200 f4?
200 f4 again.
Yep.
But this is actually cropped down a fair bit, so half of the image was actually cropped down, and you can see quite heavily cropped. So from a 24 megabyte image, you can still get a lot of good detail when you crop down. So
exactly.
So
I mean, sometimes in editing, even cropping down to something to basically have the image that you want. Don't think that you cannot crop. Crop it into something that makes it worth your while. But also give the subject always a bit of space on the sides. Like what Brett has got. Don't just be really tight and be right against the body and the tail of the birds, etc. For instance, otherwise you'll just not give the animal or the birds in this case any room for space for movement. So the human mind always thinks about that, and it's sort of like something to keep in mind. Give your subject a bit of space. So when you've got people walking, for instance, give them a bit of space into the direction where they're walking towards, and also a little bit behind them as well, so you can see which way they're heading.
But like I said before, it was obviously cropped. I like the first image that I did. It was showing the Gold Coast in the background, but it was pretty blurred out because this was shot at f4, 32 seconds. So the shutter speed was shot in 32 seconds. So it was obviously a real bright day. This was late in the afternoon, and as you can see by the highlights of the birds, the sun going down in the west, and obviously on the left side of the image is the actual surf side. So, but I did like the other one. It showed you more of the location where they were.
Yep.
But my mother actually saw this, and she didn't like the first version. She liked this one, and she actually had it. She wanted me to actually get it printed, and we printed it under the metallic based printing with the acrylic over the top.
Yeah, I see.
And which it looks absolutely stunning, just this. And now she's got this hanging up in her bathroom.
Yeah, that is also another thing where people actually should think about and get that printed and get that framed up and put it up. Yeah, it's important to actually remember your work and also just displaying it as well for yourself. I mean, instead of just having a digital image, you actually got a printed image on the wall.
Yeah, yep. So I've had done a lot of printing, not a lot as lately, but keep that in mind when you're doing shots like this. It doesn't matter what you do, sports, whatever, or landscapes, portraiture. Keep in mind that you can get some really decent images out of these cameras, even 24 megapixels. I would have preferred my having the Sony R4 and be able to crop in a lot more better. But sometimes you just gotta. I intend to shoot a lot of the times that I will shoot how I shot it. So I've already cropped in by using my zoom, or if I'm using a prime lens, I would move in to and get that shot that I want. So I might do a whole wider screen, a wider shot, and then I'll move in or change my composition. And so I've got the best of both worlds. So just in case if you do crop in heavily on a 24 megapixel camera, depends on how much cropping you do and the results of resolution that you lost. So, but this one came out really good. It just shows you this with this f4 lens. It contain a lot of detail, and this is why I've never sold my 70 to 200 f4. It's really tack sharp. But anyhow,
the f4 is great. I mean, I've still got that. You can see it just in the background there.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions? And that just we're going to go to Mark's images now too.
Absolutely.
If anybody wants to,
I'll just go through the content here because they actually remarked your images, so still can't get over the tub pegs. Won't be the one this week. I was actually surprised to get seeing that, Lauren. Wrist, so interesting.
I'm going to stop sharing, Mark. So you want to go back to us?
Okay. We'll just go back to our screen here. Yep. Now, oh God, everything is happening here. It's a bit of a racetrack, my main road here, and the police is coming past now, so it's interesting. So there you go, a bit of background humour. So Lauren said that's pretty, Brett, and it is certainly a great image. The two images were great, Brett. Rissay, at least it's functional. the peak picture, and can watch hot air balloons for ages. So peaceful, absolutely. And Michelle says perseverance pays off. Perseverance pays off.
Yeah.
Get that word out right, Mark.
If you got a passion for photography and you really want to do it, you just got to keep at it and at it and at it and keep going.
Yep. Would love to go up in a balloon one day, says Lauren, and laughing tears. Lauren, Houston must be an amazing experience. Yeah, absolutely. Michelle, it would be amazing, but very cold. Lol. Yeah, I think down in where was it in down Victoria Way, they actually do balloon flights over the wine area near Adelaide.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful.
Yep.
But it's also a bit dangerous. I mean, balloons have been known to come down. So yeah, something to take care of. But usually balloon flights are very early in the morning, and you need to be rugged up and drink plenty of wine, I think. Okay, so Michelle said, sorry, I'm flashing. Sure, I'd love to be. The pyramids. Yeah, I've heard they do balloon flights over the pyramids.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where Michelle is heading next year, from what I'm hearing.
Oh,
so that's a bit of
cool.
a secret, and
That'll be
still in
amazing.
discussions. You know, she wants to
Always want
move
to know.
that way. So we are waiting with bated breath about the COVID virus and how that's all going to clear up and open up the path for her ways. Seems like everyone is moving away from Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
Lauren, I understand Brett's annoyance here. I've had companies use my images before. Yeah, it is a problem now with Instagram also having that issue where there was a case where someone complained about someone else using their images, and they sued them, and basically Instagram said, well, the moment you put the pictures up with us, you know, that's it is up for grabs for anyone. So it's terrible having that sort of attitude.
But I'm pretty sure later on down the track, this will get sorted out.
Well, let's hope so. Like it's unbelievable that you lose all your rights to pictures once you put them up on social networks. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do that with music. Like the moment you put up music, you got to have your license right. Otherwise, you can't put up music. Like the music you're hearing in the background is through Artlist, and I can play it because I purchased the licenses for the music. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to play it.
And that's good going for photography as well. Same thing.
Yep.
No different.
So
Okay,
under the wing of two. I just want to undo my recording because my recording flashed up. I'm doing a background recording as well from this show, but it shouldn't. I don't need it really. Riss says under the wing of two of the best photographers. Apparently, I'm going the right way, fine-tuning my skills and volunteering. Yeah, so get a lot of information of these photographers about monetizing your images and publications and publicizing them for free or not. You know, and they should know what is what. So have a talk with them. Daniel said, and if things move, keep space on the area it's going. Yeah, so it's so he's talking about the small rig and what is actually happening there. So there are a lot of new things coming very soon. So stay tuned. Daniel, love 61 megapixel for cropping. Jared is wrong. Oh, okay, yeah. So he's talking about a YouTuber. Yeah. I love my A7R4 and what you can do with it. It is a little bit more difficult to actually use the camera, and I've realized that my shutter speed has to be faster, Brett, to get a sharp image. What I thought my shutter speed would be with the A9 is actually different to the A7R4.
Yeah.
So it will actually show up imperfections and blurriness much more.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through a few more messages here. Haha, mothers know best. Yeah, true. I seem to take big and then often see something more interesting and crop in Mark's hat from the city walk is a good one. Lovely photo of Mark, but the reflection of the city in his glasses grabbed me. Yeah, that was actually just my baseball hat with my sunglasses on top, and she took a picture of the reflection in the glasses. I thought you were doing advertising for the actual brand of the sunglasses. Okay, so again, Riz said, I have some water lilies I've taken and not love printing on glass one day. I'd love print it on glass one day. Okay, yeah. So
They can print on glass these days, so it's really good apparently. I had my last wedding clients that I had, they had some of their images that I shot printed on glass, and I'm talking about big, like a, I don't know, 40 by 40 or whatever.
yeah.
Was 30 centimeter. And they absolutely loved it. So yeah.
So Daniel just said, yeah. I mean, he's just concurring that the 70-200 f4 lens is very underrated, and it's true. I mean, it's been out for quite some time. So I wonder if Sony is going to do something about the actual the motors in the 70-200 f4 one day and give us a version 2 update. That's something
that'd be
could
nice.
Interesting.
Version 2 update. As long it's going to perform like the F4. That's the real matter, And don't forget too with the this particular lens. I mean, it's no slow case. It's very fast.
It is a fast and very sharp lens. Yeah, I got to say. Yeah.
May not be fast as the 135, but I've never had any problem with it. So yeah. Okay.
I don't think your glass brand will pay me though. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. With not much more to say, I'll bring up my
your images.
My images. Yeah. And here we go. Now, very blurry, you must say. Okay, these are actually images from my mother. She passed away just on 2 years now, and I just thought I'd just bring them up because it's, look, it's Mother's Day, and why not? This was actually a picture that was actually taken by my father. Like just about all the images were taken by my father at the time. He used to shoot Leica, so
wow.
This is at the time. This was very good quality. This was obviously a film image that I digitized after they passed away. I got all the images, and I went a bit berserk with just basically sorting out and digitizing all the pictures. But this was actually in Germany in Hamburg. So
okay.
But I think this. The outlook here would have probably changed by now a little bit. But, so it's, And this is my mother and father, and again, this was just... and you can just see back then the flash work and lighting was just really extreme because of the film. The analog film needed a lot of light in it, and so totally blown out. This was my mother. I think she was back then. I think she was maybe 17 or 18 years old in pre-wartime Germany. So another thing where I think she was just finishing off her learning curve or studies in nursing. Yeah, so she was a nurse. My mother on my motorbike. So I was very back then I was a bit of a hoon. Yeah. So there you go.
It's fascinating to see old photos like that, back in the day. There's just something about black and white film days back in those days.
Oops. So I've just lost it. Hang on a sec, Brett. I've just got to bring it back again. Yeah, so back there you got the black and white images are just fairly interesting to look at. I must say. Yeah. So the Yeah, and that's just basically her brothers and sisters that she actually she was made responsible for looking after them and bringing them up. So, and they are still, apart from one, they're all still in Germany. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
And that's basically it, Brett. I don't think I've got any more images to show and share of my family, but I just I thought it would be interesting for people to actually see what yeah. I mean, it is Mother's Day, and I just thought why not, just bring up some personal images of mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna bring up.
And
okay, so that was already brought that up. Nice. I scan many images from old days and sometimes try to edit them. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. It's stuff like film does eventually break down, so digitizing it is probably very important these days. And I remember pulling out the shoe boxes and going through all the pictures and digitizing them one after another. And I also digitized my father's, because later on he used Super 8 film and he filmed a lot, so that was also digitized, and I made a like a 2-hour movie out of all his rolls of film. But it's it's all history now.
Yeah.
And deine Mutter. Certainly was. Yeah. Bit of German. My mother. Yeah. Hard. Yes. Thank you very much, Riz. And lovely to see such beautiful and personal photos, Mark. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I don't mind sharing my personal life and what goes on, or what has been. It's and it's just for people to see who I am, because I'm very genuine with my life.
Yeah.
I love a photo of my mum and her brother. On the back of the photo is the colour notes from the photographer when they coloured them by hand. And exactly right, there is it is a really interesting procedure when you go and do colouring on negatives, etc. It's they used to use specialised tools and scrape away certain parts of the image, etc. It's really, really intricate and interesting. I just watched hang on, I just got to look at my notes. A video of Sean Tucker. I spoke with you about this, Brett, about Sean Tucker. He's got always a lot of interesting stuff. And hang on, I'll just write his name down if someone wants to research him. And in his latest video, he actually shows you how you can develop images in if you don't have a darkroom, how to develop images off film. And he goes step by step and shows you how to do it. And you don't actually need a darkroom, so it's really interesting. Okay, so it is a blessing to be a mother. Yeah, and especially on Mother's Day, I thought I'd just bring up some pictures of my mother and just sort of just bring up some bit of Mother's Day into the show.
Yeah.
So Daniel says he was waiting for me to finish long exposure of a waterfall.
I had to celebrate 2 mothers because I'm actually adopted. So I celebrated 2 of them today and wished them both a happy Mother's Day. So I'm very honoured that I do know my birth mother, and we talk and that and so forth. So it's really good to know where I come from, and but no regrets with my mother that brought me up. So I'm very grateful and for both of them. I'm very lucky for the things that I'm all about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So now we would like to just chat a little bit SD cards, Brett.
Yes.
we know there's been a certain amount of failure, etc., going on in the past, and I'll just I really want to pass it on to you, and you can probably have a bit of a chat about that if you like. Yeah.
Well, I came across a post a while back where someone had a failed card, and it really comes down that there's really no guarantee on cards as they get older and they get worn out, and how long they will last, and especially when it comes to price point. I've only had 2 cards fail on me over the years, since the days I was using the A7. But to tell you the truth, before I even got to the A2, I never had one card fail. It was only when I got the A7 free and utilising both card slots, I had one card fail. And the card that failed was the G series, this one here. And now this
is that still available, the G series?
No.
Yeah, okay, so it's been discontinued.
Yeah, it's been discontinued. With now being replaced by the tough cards.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at that, both of them, they're the same write speed and read speed. They're exactly the same, but the new tough cards are obviously a tougher plastic. They're not bendable or anything, waterproof and everything. They both got the Series 2. As you can see, there's 2 rows of pins. Where compared to the older cards, Series 1, which is these 2 here. So one Sony SanDisk. They're the most popular, obviously, in the last couple of years now. But they're the older cards. See how they only got 1 row of pins. So, but I've had Alexia 2000 times 2000. That that wasn't a cheap one, and it just suddenly failed.
Yeah, like Daniel was just mentioning here, the had problems with my that card as well. So they've been discontinued for certain reasons, I guess. Yeah.
I haven't heard many of the G series. This one is about 17 months old before it failed. And the fun thing is, I had a hunch it was on its way out because it was doing things that you just knew there's some data was missing or something wasn't playing back, or it wasn't coming up when you loaded it up onto your computer. And just as well, at that time I was utilising both card slots, and at the time I would have had this one in the second slot, so I was every time, because as you see they're both 32, so when I do the 64, I'll put a second one, the old series card at 64. So,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I have got. Oh God, it's just.
Bit hard to see. Yep.
So it's a SanDisk, but I've replaced over time. I've been replacing mine with tough Sony camera SD cards. This is just sort of like a residue that I've actually still got.
But look, I'll finally give you some tips on my experience.
Can I just interrupt Brett? Daniel was saying Sony does replace them for free. I'm not 100%, I wasn't aware of that, but
look, if it's under warranty, yes.
Yeah.
If it's up to, if it's over 12 months, well, it's out of warranty. Most cards are still only 12 months.
Yeah, so it's probably worthwhile contacting Sony if you've got some failed cards, and maybe getting in contact with them to see if that can be sorted out and they can replace the cards.
Yeah. Look, if you've still got a warranty, like I didn't claim warranty for this one because I knew it was 17 months old.
Yep.
And the reason why I know this, because you see this one, this is a recent new card, and I put a date on it when I bought it to the day I actually started using it. So now I know in the coming months, I know how old it's getting. If it comes up to 12 months, it's time to buy a new card. Even though there's nothing wrong with the card, but always every 12 months, you don't have to, or you don't have to agree with me. I just think that every 12 months, it's time to get another second card.
I would suggest to look into that if you are professional and you have to rely on these images, or you're something like a wedding photographer. But then again, you've got the reliability of 2 card slots on the Sony cameras.
Yep.
So if one card fails, the other one will keep driving. And so it's 1 year's. Cards are expensive at the moment. Like these tough cards. They're not cheap. So it is just one of those things where you got to keep an eye on these cards. Full stop.
But don't ever think that, look, I've heard cards lasting for 6 years, up to 6 years, and not a problem, and all of a sudden, they just go like that, no warning.
Yeah.
But if you see any problems happening with your cards, check the date on them. How old are they? And then if they're getting on 12 months, it really depends on how much you use them too. I've heard plenty of people using day in, day out, reformatting every time. I do the same thing. But you got to be very careful and be aware. If there's a little problem, little glitches or whatever, and don't ever format on your PC. Always format your cards inside the camera and
there is a like a way to format your cards, and usually take your cards out to transfer via a card reader, and then put your card back into the camera when you're sure you've got everything taken off and backed up, etc. Then you can do the formatting inside the camera.
So we'll go to the comments.
Okay, so Daniel said the Lexar SD cards are very tricky since they changed owners, but some cards have been actually rebranded to Lexar, so keeping an eye on that as well. It's some cards have actually got stickers on them that shouldn't be on them, and they are very tricky too. So making sure that they're genuine cards is probably important. You pay obviously almost the same, and it's really hard to sort of pick them. If you buy them off a retailer, you should be fine. Just be careful buying on eBay and check the seller, because you don't want to be buying non-genuine cards. That's going to be a problem. Yeah, absolutely. It's very hard to tell from a fake SD card. So it's almost impossible unless you actually know exactly what you're looking for. Yep. And Daniel, sorry, that flashed away. So Daniel was saying he backs up on iPad rotate card to daily, so that at least you got at least 3 copies of the actual images when you want to take them. Went on internet for Adobe Cloud. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, I swap mine around every time too. So I'm getting an even wear amount on every card, and not just wearing out one card every time. So but sometimes I don't. I'll just go on the fastest card, and I'll just shoot to that. Yep.
But if I'm doing weddings, I've got to have both cards running.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, you can't
Yeah.
make a mistake when you do wedding photography because you are contractually
Right.
bound to taking pictures.
Yeah.
Obviously, you will have in your contract. Should there be a complete failure, you're not being held responsible for that, etc. So just make sure that your contracts are very, very ironclad. Otherwise, you'll get sued by the wedding couple. So be very careful with weddings, etc. I mean, these one-off shots—they're very important.
Yes, Daniel. The G cards got all replaced. Yes. The G cards, these ones.
Yep.
These were the older series. That was the series before. That was the standard Sony one.
Yep.
And then the G cards came out, which were the faster and faster read and write. And now the tough series are the ones that replace the G series. So yeah. So these are more expensive than say your normal ones. So now you've got the latest card.
Yeah.
Obviously,
now with upcoming cameras having capabilities of doing 8K recording, etc. in the future, the manufacturers will have to look at doing something like internal storage, like what Daniel just said about 64 gig or 120 gig memory buffer inside the camera. It's silly. Would help in speed, backup, and syncing. And I agree with that. There should be an internal. If you got internal memory and then you got one external card, then it would be just beautiful. That would be. That might be the trick. Who knows? I just don't know what the manufacturers are going to be coming up with. I mean, when you look at mobile phones, etc., they come with internal hard drives. They've got internal memory.
I'll just go back to Risk was saying something about
SD cards.
SD cards, but she was talking about say on a dash cam.
Oh,
yes.
Doing the dash
I've
cam
had
thing.
the same problem. And mobile phones, if you're using the mini SD cards, and then you use a false body like the full size to be able to put into your card reader on,
SD card to mini SD card adapter.
I can tell you now, the little mini SD cards, I've had a lot of them fail, and they've been a Samsung ones. So they're not cheap, but same thing. So you just got to be very careful. And I suppose with the external cards, when you put it in your mobile phone, you get that extra slot apart from your internal. In my phone, I got 256 gigabyte, and I noticed there's some photos starting to disappear off my external card.
Yep.
And that's indicating that the card is getting clogged.
When you think about SD cards, also when you are in the studio and you're doing a lot of studio photography and you're going that way, say you're doing headshots and all that in studio, you should definitely think about tethering your camera. It's not only that you can then see the image straight away on a large screen monitor. It's also that the actual the image then is saved on your computer right away. So tethering is good for many things, and it's another way to ensuring that you've actually capturing the image during that studio session.
Yeah. And that's what every time I'm in studio, I'm always tethering. So I'm not worried about I'm losing any images. That's going straight into your PC, your laptop, and then to your external hard drive.
Yep.
So it's getting backed up pretty much. You can tell the camera also too. You can save an image to your card as well, plus sending it to your computer if you're really that worried about backing up, that sort of thing. Some people actually, once they use the card and it's a special day or something, like weddings and that,
Yep.
they won't. They wouldn't. They just keep it like that and use it as extra, and they'll buy another card. You know what I mean? And that's another way of storing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, but that is a very expensive way of doing it. So, you might be better off going with an external card or an SSD drive that way as well, and placing them, and not just the card themselves. So
I've just seen that Daniel says that he's got an iPad that's got 1 terabyte, and he uses that for backing up. I'm just wondering if is that RAW there, Daniel? Can you now back up to your iPad via RAW? I'm just not 100% sure if it's JPEG or RAW. By the way, I got my many speeds tests of these cards in my YouTube over the years. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of your YouTubes there, Daniel, and it's another pointer for people maybe having a look at Daniel's YouTubes, because he's giving a lot of advice. He's also got a Facebook group that I should maybe mention.
yeah, go.
Yeah, and it's that's actually a very good Facebook group that actually does full frames. I think it's the full frame setup group. If you want, Daniel, just put that in the comment box so people can find you in YouTube. Also, I would just like to mention our YouTube groups. Brett has got his group. It's called Sony Alpha Brisbane group on Facebook, and I have my photography collective group on Facebook as well.
Facebook?
Yeah, and it's all on Facebook,
Mark.
and you can see it in the comments boxes there. Yeah,
Good.
there you go. There's Mike Palmer. There you go, Mike Palmer.
There you go, mate.
Okay, so hang on, I'm just
And
sort of
don't
like
forget our,
losing the thread here a little bit. Where am I?
Our Instagrams too. So yeah.
Yeah, so everything is in the comments box if people want to find us. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay.
there you go. There's Mike Palmer saying, "Hi guys, it's the Phantom." In terms of weddings, the camera's cards don't leave my site until at least the first backup is copied off. It doesn't matter if I get in at 2 a.m. Must do first backup. Yes, absolutely, and backing up is important. I know that a lot of wedding photographers. I'm personally not a wedding photographer. I've done some weddings, but I don't see myself as a wedding photographer per se. I've seen a lot of wedding photographers doing their first backups actually between sessions. So they do the church, and then they back up the cards, or they swap out the cards, and then they actually do the formals, etc., and then they actually do the reception, etc. So that they in intervals they do the backing up, which is important. And usually they've got something like a NAR box or some sort of hard drive with an SD card slot that they can insert the card into, and that actually will do the backup. But a lot of photographers also will have many SD cards, and they will not delete or format the SD cards until they are home and they've actually got everything backed up into the RAID system, etc. And so you've got something like, I don't know, say 12 SD cards with them on hand, and they will, use up one card, and then for the session, put that one away, grab another SD card and put that one in, and so on. So it's just making 100% sure that you are doing everything possible not to lose images.
Yep. And all those cards they got too, they wouldn't be 128 megabyte gig cards either. They'll be either a 32 or 64. So you don't want a really big card for doing that, because you really think about it, the more data you got on a card, the more you're going to lose. And if one part of that card gets corrupt, one cluster or whatever, all right, will go. So you're better off having, like you just said, multiple cards, say 32 or 64. they, I always use 64, but I never fill it up. I have never actually filled up a 64 megabyte card,
Yep.
let alone 32. But yeah.
Yeah, dash cameras. You will have the problem. I actually completely melted my dash camera on my car. All the plastic just was melted, and the only thing I rescued out of it was the mini SD card.
Yeah.
It just completely melted. In Australian summer, if you leave a car outside, expect some damage when it comes to plastic. It's done. Especially parts that don't actually come with the car. For instance, like a phone holder or a dash cam. I mean, all these plastics were not made for external usage, and they will actually, they will crumble in heat. It's I've had that many times happening.
Yeah.
And Risp was basically saying, "Hi Ghost, who photographs at Mike?" Okay.
She's talking about Mike.
Mike, yeah. Phantom of the camera. There you go. And Riss says at Lauren laughing. Yeah. And Daniel says, yes, RAW works perfectly. Just import in Lightroom directly. Okay, interesting. I've never tried it that way. I mean, I've got 2 iPad Pros here, but I use them less and less. Or actually, it's I can't get used to using an iPad yet. And I've had so many over the years. I mean, I was the first user of iPad. When the first version came out, I was in line at the Apple store waiting to get in and grabbing one. So it's not the uptake; it's more the use. I mean, I'm more a laptop person. I'm everything Mac. I've got a MacBook and a MacBook Pro, and also the Mac Mini that I'm actually streaming with here. So that's another thing. But it's, I mean, I like the MacBooks that you can carry around everywhere. Okay. And so hi Riss, hi Lauren says Mike. Good to see you here, Mike. Hey Mike, says Lauren. And Daniel says, so there's Facebook. Daniel is running the Facebook Sony full frame setup tips, and there are lots and lots of tips there that you can delve into. And he actually does testing, some, how would you say, some, I would call it unusual testing, where he actually does testing that no other YouTuber actually does, and he pushes his cameras very much to the limit. So it's really interesting. Now, just Google me, says Daniel, so you'll find him there. And Lauren says, that sounds like me with Milky Way shots. What's that? I have work in 6 hours, question mark. Let's just have a look at these photos first. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's usually as soon as you come home, that's the first thing you do. You don't have anything to eat, or you don't get changed, you don't have a shower, you just want to see your pictures. That's more important than anything in life. And Daniel says iPad 12.9 2020 model Lightroom is so fast with 61 megapixels. Raw images have demo on my YouTube. Yeah, I've heard about the new iPads. They're just incredible with their speed and how quickly they can actually read raw files. It's really it's mad. It's mad. I'm personally still waiting for the 2020 updates on the iMacs. So very interested in what's coming up soon. Also have a demo on how to FTP from R4 A9 Mark II from camera to iPad directly. Yeah, there you go. So you can FTP as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. Yeah. And Riz, when I photograph volunteers for a major race group, I copy photos from camera to hard drive every time I return to the media center. Great when I run both cameras, it's easy for Lightroom to import, yes, and there again, you know, backing up is important. It's king.
Yep.
Okay. It's a very busy chat room here today, Brett. I'm
Yeah.
liking it. It's good.
I'm liking it too.
I've broken my third
cool.
dash cam. Looks like it's done internal memory and won't boot up. Yeah, I started now taking my dash cam off when I know I'm parked for a longer period of time outdoors.
Yeah.
Just to stop this melting issue.
The other problem with those dash cams, if you leave them in a hot car, you get back and you find the suction cups falling off.
Yeah, yeah, all the plastic
Yeah.
breaks down. Yeah, even the suction caps, yeah. So Daniel Ocklagan, indeed, I think data sim spots in more prosumer level cameras will be next. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's look, I mean, cameras are getting more and more streamlined, I must say, when it actually comes to data transfer and getting the data off the camera. And I don't know if people have actually realized yet, but I should mention that I am live streaming with the A7R4, and I'm live streaming not via HDMI, I'm live streaming via USB-C. So there's something interesting for maybe Daniel and people that are live streaming to sort of pick up and just see what it actually does. And I'm not even 100% sure. I can't hear myself to see whether I am still in lip sync. So if someone can maybe let me know if the lip sync is working or not.
That's the problem with happening, and this is why now Mark has changed it from HDMI over to USB-C because of that lip sync problem. Did you say there was the problem was that the Sony cameras wasn't actually, say, recording at 25 frames a second or 60?
Yes, exactly. I should maybe bring that up and explain this a little bit better to people. Just 1 second, I'll just bring it up and...
Good to see you in here.
Okay, so I'll just switch over to my screen here.
Yeah.
Brett?
Yep.
Okay, so here is basically a description of the Sony Alpha A7R4, and in here you will see that the frame speed when you switch over to say 1080p 60 frames per second, the camera does not perform as 60 frames per second. It actually performs where you can see it here. I'll probably just draw a circle with the here. You'll see it's actually 59.94 frames per second. That has got a huge impact on when you're doing live streaming and you are sending the 1080p 60 frames via live stream, and then you're doing the audio as well. The audio will start drifting out, so it will actually it will drift. So the video will keep going at 59.94 frames per second, if that makes any sense. But the audio is basically live. It actually just streams at one steady stream. So more and more, the video is going to fall more and more behind, and it will look like your audio is falling behind because your lip sync is out. So, and as yet, I don't have a software that I need to make the adjustment, which is, the hardware, which is basically going to be the ATEM Mini Pro that I'm waiting for to be delivered. Yeah. So far, I've been using the Elgato 60S or HD 60S, I think it's called, and that is actually non-adjustable. You can't make any adjustments through there and going into Ecamm Live. That's a software that I use to stream. So that was the big issue. Yeah, so I'm just gonna,
yeah.
if everyone can see that, I'm just gonna go back into. It was just sort of like I just wanted to bring that up quickly so people understand why I'm streaming USB-C instead of doing it through HDMI.
Yep. Mike said, Mark, Brett, thoughts on failing cards in the middle of a shoot? Well, there's only one thing you can do: have extra SD cards on hand and swap them out.
Well, the name of the game is actually have your dual slot camera.
Yep.
And having it basically writing to both cameras, both slots at the same time.
Yeah.
Both RAW. I would say both RAW. I mean, a lot of people want that they switch over to RAW on one card and do JPEG on another card, which is faster. The write speed is then faster, but I would do RAW and RAW if you're actually doing an important shoot.
Not really. I don't think that that's really true. I think that the JPEG is slower because it's got to actually be it's got to be actually added by the software, where RAW is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. So you are always better off making sure that your settings you can set that up in your menu. I think it's in the briefcase.
Yeah.
Is that right, Brett? You can go in there and change the configuration so it writes to both cards at the same time. Especially if you've got something crucial like wedding photography, etc., and basically stuff that you can't get back. I mean, if you're shooting a personality, someone like J-Lo, I mean, I was in a studio once, and J-Lo was shot shortly after what I did. And if I would have had the chance to shoot J-Lo, then it would have been 2 cards, 2 RAWs, and tethered.
Like what Daniel just said, RAW plus RAW is faster than RAW plus JPEG.
Yeah.
So he's got some test on his YouTube channel on that.
Yeah. I remember that Daniel did the testing, and absolutely. Was my mistake. I would just basically say, well, why don't you just write both? There is maybe a usage for shooting RAW and JPEG if you are a sports photographer or something like that, and the shots have to be uploaded very quickly to the editor, and it has to be it has to go live very fast. Then you would do the JPEGs.
Yeah.
I'm just losing. So I'm sorry if I'm skipping a few people here. Seems pretty good, Mark. Okay, so the lip sync seems pretty good. So thank you very much for that, Michelle. Hey, Bill. So Bill is in the house. How you going, Bill? How's everything going down there in Melbourne? I do software and hardware, and Sony is redoing USB-C protocols, making many changes on each firmware release. Suspect way better USB-C video. Like, as you can see, like if you look carefully, you'll see a bit of a judder. But I'll for this live stream, I'll wear that. That's fine. See more feedback from camera, like touch points, selected area, sound levels. Oh, don't even say that, Daniel. That sounds too good to be true. It's something like Brett is waiting for with his A7 III. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Riz was saying mine is now classed as dinosaur when it comes to this stuff, but it still works and I love it. Yes. That's the A-mount system.
Yeah.
I can just imagine you, Riz, with the mirrorless system, if you're going EF. Like an A9 or something like that. Wow, would that be fun for you? Daniel said using HDMI to get audio and video at the same time solves it. since audio data is hidden in each video frame. Yes, true, Daniel. I heard about that, but my biggest problem is once the HDMI goes into the Elgato card, straight away it actually splits it again, and there comes the delay. So that's the biggest problem. So it's not, it hasn't worked out with me with the especially this Elgato card. I got to bring that up constantly. Like it's the HD60S, and that's got inherent problems. I can't use the card without another app that has to run in the background as well, which is the OBS Link. So OBS has to come into it as well to make all this happen. So it's it's just not it's not feasible for me right now. Although Elgato has actually got a Camlink 4K or something like that that seems to be working much better, and it integrates much better. And hey Lauren, okay, so we've I'll just keep on, sorry that I'm keep on repeating people here because I need to sort of keep going down the list of who's okay, so we've read all these. So Raw and Raw is faster than Raw and JB. Yeah, exactly, Daniel. You're right. So, and Mike said, thanks, my thoughts are more that if I think a card is mucking up in a shoot, I grab the next camera rather than muck around with cards. Yeah, I mean, if speed is everything, I mean, having a B camera is important. You always have to have another B camera ready to go. Yeah. But a lot of wedding photographers also use a B camera as with another lens, with another length.
Have two zoom lenses on them. So yeah, you just on a sling either side, and then you got a backup coming.
Yeah, I'm sure when there is a lull between the shoot, and you can quickly swap the card out. I'm sure that would be done. But you're right, you know, like I mean, if you're in the pinch, I mean, all of a sudden you actually got a failure on your card in the middle of when the ring the ring gets put on at the wedding. You don't want to have to go. Oh, stop everything! I'm just going to swap out a card. It's not going to happen. I'm sure the priest is going to be upset the most. So okay, so my screen keeps on jumping here, Brett, and I need to just keep on following up. Mike Palmer, question mark. Yeah. So I hope that you are right, Mike. I mean, if you have to be fast, you have to just grab the B camera. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes, Daniel. Okay, so that's another mention to Daniel. To say, it's good, Mark. Still freezing down here. How are things back in Brizzy? Okay, so just mention that Bill is down in Melbourne here in Australia, and we are in Brisbane. So Bill used to live up this way, and I don't know why in the hell he went into the freezing cold, apart from his university stuff. Yeah. Okay, Lauren. Don't tell me that, Bill. I'll be down there in 3 weeks. Yeah, so you just can maybe hug during winter and keep each other warm.
And there's Bill and Lauren will have shooting partners once again, because they used to go do some shooting as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I mean, maybe just collaborate and do something there. I've been bugging Sony for 3 years with Mark Gaylor. Yeah. I mean, it's look, Mark Gaylor is probably the person that you can mention things to, and then he goes over to Japan and talks with the Sony people, but he does not. He hasn't got too much.
Daniel said, "Good on you that you ordered the ATEM Mini."
Yeah, I mean the ATEM Mini is just one of those things where I'm just waiting for it. It's actually the Mini Pro. I've actually just go on with it. Yeah, and I'm running out of body parts to sell. New model car arrived Friday. New model car? Did you get yourself a new model car? Well, you can't do that. You've got to get yourself a camera first. I think the Elgato HD 60S Plus also works well and is plug and play without drivers. Yeah, the biggest problem with me at the time was that I needed to get one of these capture cards, and everything was sold out. That was about the only thing that I could get at the time. So, as I said, once the item mini gets here, it'll be actually a lot more fun. Happy to go shooting with Bill if the opportunities come and arrive. And the feed keeps dropping. Yeah, I'm very sorry about it. I'm experiencing a bit of some weird lockup. So we'll just keep on streaming because I can't really repair that right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Move
on to our
Scale Suite.
because we are getting an hour and a half into the show now as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to get on with the our list of things that we were going to talk about. I might leave the Mac Mini out, there, Brett. Okay, so I just wanted to mention a lot of people the old TV then left over, and they don't know what to do with it. It usually goes in the bedroom, etc., and maybe acts as a backup TV, etc. And what I've done, and I should switch over to my my images. Okay, so I'm just gonna. Ooh, it's a bit big. Okay, so I zoom out. So here you can see my workspace, should I say, and I have appropriated a LG TV, which is on the right-hand side, as a second screen, and it works pretty good. It's only a 1080, never to mind. Yeah, so this is basically my workspace where I actually stream from. You will see the A7R4 is rigged up there with the 28 to 135 on a Gitzo tripod, and you'll see the Gobo arm is actually holding my Rode NT1. Up there, you'll see it there, and it's also holding a GoPro camera, so I can actually do overheads. And there's my light, my main light. So it's not too much of a rigging. You also see that I use a Mac Mini, an i3 Mini, to do all the streaming. And let me just go to the next picture. Sorry.
Are we lost?
Oh, what a mess. So
we've dropped out, have we?
We dropped out?
Have we dropped out, guys?
Okay, so it's a busy time for... Yeah, we're back on again, Brett. It just sort of keeps on jumping in and out. I think it's just YouTube that's actually getting a bit busy. 2020, so it's 8:30, so we're not going to make this too much longer on the show. But here's another image, a close-up of how everything is sitting there, and the secondary screen, which is basically a TV monitor, just a TV screen. So very inexpensive.
Right. Yeah.
Been having thought as was just me been having issues all day. Okay.
Okay, Daniel, you're good that you came along, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, Daniel, very good for stepping in here and having a look around and seeing us. And have a good rest of the weekend, and happy Mother's Day for you because you are one day behind. Is that right? So you'll actually just step into Mother's Day in the morning. Yes. Yeah, Lauren says, see you, Daniel. And yeah, Riz, you as well, Daniel. Yeah.
Riz, that looking pretty professional there, Mark. All that that hair and makeup arts.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to step it up when you do live streaming. It's I mean, doing normal recording to YouTube is one thing, and you can just record it on a card and you can. But live streaming just sort of like it takes on a whole new experience, and then you can hear another car coming past. Okay, so now we the last thing I really want to talk about is I should show people the what I use now as a TV, and this is my TV setup. It's an OLED 65-inch TV, which has got a screensaver that actually makes pictures look like framed pictures. So it's a pretty cool TV, and I'm mostly blown away by the imaging that you get out of these. And so for every image, it actually changes over and gives you a new frame, etc. So just so people can see what is out there and what is possible. I mean, the image that you get out of these are quite incredible. And you got yourself a Sony as well, didn't you? There, Brett.
Yeah, I bought a. Wasn't cheap, but I'm glad I did it because smart TV doesn't do what yours do. This like an oil painting sort of thing that it comes like it sort of blends into the wall like a picture frame and that. But no, I was very happy that my old TV was on the way out. That I was actually told by Telstra. The reason this how it came about that because my old TV was more than 6 years old. If they're over 5 years old, the tuners will start to deteriorate, and they'll drop, keep losing signal, and and that can play havoc on your phone line, your internet. Because
exactly.
The internet.
Yeah, you did bring that up with me, and we were talking about that. It was interesting.
So it was definitely way over its time, and we need to replace it. So have the Sony TV. Yep.
Perhaps I should just blend this. Oh, okay, so we've got an OBS problem, so I can't do that. Okay. I was trying to be fancy and actually get the GoPro to work, but it's actually flunked out. And that is another problem with HDMI. It's inherently, it's got the instability problem, so it's a bit of an issue. So sorry about that, folks.
Yep.
I wish I could show, but it will not do the show and tell. Now I was okay, Brett. There was the last point that we were going to talk about, and that is the breakdown of the Gobo or the grip.
Yep, that's right.
Now I have posted this in the group and wanted to just just bring up this image here, for instance, and just make people aware of the failure, the manufacturing failure here, and you will see that the manufacturing fault is the thread count or how it was actually put together. You could have put that screw into the hole, say another 3 threads, and they only used like 3 threads here to screw the other part into the grabber, and that failed obviously and pulled out the thread. If it would have been screwed in deeper, and you got that length there, so it would have been at least good for 6 threads. And they failed to do that, and that's hence why I ended up with this failure. This is a newer grip, and it came with my C stand and gobo arm. If that would have been hanging over a model with a heavy light, that could have caused all sorts of havoc and all sorts of damage. I'm just glad it happened at that time when it did. There was not much white on the grip, so the failure didn't cause any further damage, thankfully. But you've got experience about that as well, haven't you, Brett?
Yeah, look, I don't have the C-Sand quality, but I do have another product that made by the same company, Newer, and I've only just purchased these the beginning of the year or end of last year. I would love to have the C-Stands, but they're very, very expensive. I even heard C-Stands of $900. They can have the same problem what you just had.
Yeah, exactly.
But with their gobo arms, they had more problems. But with this one, this was very, very cheap compared to just your standard for this stainless steel, obviously. But if you look in the knuckles here that hold, well, actually, if I turn this one around, you can see the black bolts.
Yeah, the bolts.
And then this one here is not black.
Yep.
I had to replace this one because it's stripped. Same thing. The bolt that goes through into the butterfly.
So are you saying the original bolt is black?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's a hardened steel bolt.
Yep.
Going into a cast material.
That's correct.
Because I got a mechanical background. You're not supposed to do that at all.
No.
It will damage.
So, anyhow, I replaced the bolt because the bolt was not long enough. It was only getting 3 mil into the wing nut. And when that wing nut strips the 3 threads, the first 5 mil, you're stripping it. So when I bought a new bolt, I made sure it was 5 mil longer than the original thread, and now it can tighten up because it actually goes into the wing nut further.
Yeah, it goes further down.
Yeah. So these are things you've got to be aware with cheaper products about those sort of things. Yeah. So
and that's our advice actually. As we're coming to the end of the show, our advice is basically to check and recheck your units. If you do have C stands or any kind of stands that are around, and maybe just unscrew the grip, or maybe just have a look and see how many threads are actually stuck into how many threads are actually holding the device together. Especially, well, it seems like it's newer at the moment, and I haven't had any other experience with any other products that caused issues like that. I've had some issues with plastic screw knobs on certain devices where the actual where the plastic broke down and it would actually just break apart, and that was the end of that wing nut or whatever else. But metal wise, I would definitely definitely unscrew grips and devices, and do have a check, especially now while you are still more or less stuck at home. It's probably a good time to maybe just do a check. It's again, it's only a matter of just unscrewing this wing nut, and you'll see it's all cast as well. So that's another problem. But if you unscrew this, the bolt will unscrew itself out of the unit, and then you can maybe just have a look at it. Like if it beyond the nut, if it counts free, if you've got 3 threads in there, it's not enough. You need to go deeper, say to 6 threads, and basically screw the nut down further and make the part longer that goes into the female into the female part. And I hope that makes sense to people that are watching this. But it's a wake up call for me to recheck. Yeah.
Yep.
And if these fail, also by the way, they can be purchased separately. That's another thing I should maybe mention.
Bill said, imagine if that fell on the talent or someone in a mid-shoot.
Yeah, exactly, Bill. Yeah, no, I'm glad it happened now, and because I was never aware of it. I mean, every time I tightened everything up, it just seemed to be just fine and holding. I never gave it a second thought, but now I will definitely be careful with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've come to the end of the show, Brett. There's no one actually asking any questions, and we're just going to hang around a little bit longer, just to see if anyone's got any further questions concerning any segments that we brought up here.
I do have one more thing to show everybody.
Yep.
Hot shoe covers.
Yes.
Now, this is actually, I purchased this from Hong Kong or China. I couldn't get hold of. I misplaced my originals. I could not find them, so I bit the bullet and decided to get some from Hong Kong or whatever. But now I don't think I'll ever do that. I think I'd rather just wait till I can get some off Sony or Speedy Spares, I think. I couldn't really find them, but I need to find the link for them. But anyhow, they were cheap as chips. $2 for two of.
But is it, when you got it fully pushed in, is it still wobbly?
No.
Oh, okay.
But word of warning, if you're buying stuff from China and so forth, it's so easy. If you look how easy that was to me to move that out. There is a bit of, when it goes about halfway, it gets stiffer, but when it's past that stiff point, it'll just easily fall out.
Yeah.
I noticed with the original ones, it takes a lot to get that out. You can see I'm not really pushing on that at all, and bring it close to the camera this way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I did bring that up a while back in the group where I mentioned that if you got the original, if you purchase the camera or you still got the original cover on your camera, have a look on eBay, etc., and maybe think about purchasing one of these covers and swapping out the cover so you got the original one safely put away, and you're not going to have any problems when you want to sell your camera. You put the original one back on, etc. In the meantime, you can use a non-original. Just make sure it is a right fit for the camera. Yeah.
Bill said, would you ever look around C-stands during an outdoor shoot?
Yeah. I personally don't. If it was a bigger production with a team, and if we had a van over in America, for instance, I would definitely have C-stands. It is just one of those things. If you in America, the thing is that you need obviously permits, etc. In most places, when you set up, if they see light stands or anything like that, they will come screaming at you and want you to take it down if you don't have a permit. So everything has to be paid for, and you've got to get a permit for it, etc. But C-stands, it's a tricky situation. Like if you're a photographer with a model alone, I would say no, not a C-stand, because it's for starters, it won't break down as easily as what a was tripod those tri-stands can, and also you would need at least one assistant with you to do all the setting up, because it is time consuming. In a studio, absolutely get yourself a C-stands with gobo arms, etc., and because they are the standard, and you will love them, because you can do even for food overhead, or any kind of overhead shooting. Having a gobo arm is just so beautiful, because it will actually reach over the table.
Yeah,
and it can be used in so many ways. Maybe I should just bring that up again, Brett. That picture that I've got.
Only problem with C-stands, they're very expensive. You don't want to really be taking them out to the public, and so forth. I would suggest something like this stand, Celans.
Yep, the Celans is a good one, because it's actually can you just show them the air compression?
Now these are cheaper than your normal C-stands. This one will go from 1 meter to 3 meters high. I've got another one can go up to 5 meters high, but they're cheaper. They're this one's $60, but this one also, when you undo them and you got them up, if you look, I'm not holding that. See how it's going down slowly? It's air compressed.
Yep.
So if you've got a big studio light on in that, and you undone it too far, it's not going to come down. Boom. And it's an air shocky. The other cheaper ones are the newer version. They've got a spring in it, so they'll hit the spring and bounce back and up and down, and that's not the one you want. They are you could probably use them out on location, and because they're much more easier to replace. But these ones here I use in studios as well, plus they're much lighter. They don't have the big footprint that C-stand has, because when you fold them up, they'll hang to one side. These fold up like this, so they're
exactly.
But most of the time, you would never take one of these. Say, like if you went down to say South Bank, like Mark said. As soon as you bring a light stand out onto location, you're going to have the security guards coming out and telling you to move on.
I mean, the other thing with the C-stands, it really goes for every light stand that you've got. You should really use sandbags, etc., and sandbag it down properly and securely. In the end, we're talking about liability, and you need to make sure that you're doing everything possible to avoid any kind of damage to anyone and anything. I just want to bring up this picture again, and you'll see here I've appropriated the C-stand to do my microphone, and at the same time also hold the GoPro for overhead shots, and as you can see the hang on, I just got to zoom in. Okay, so the grip, this is the grip that actually failed, and I reappropriated it to hold the GoPro. That's why I couldn't actually show it live here, but it is just it's only holding something very lightweight like the GoPro, and I have it marked now so I don't use it for anything else. And you'll also see that the gobo arm is held on by another grip, and so C-stands are very versatile. Also, you can't actually see this, but very much the same C-stand is holding up this light box here as well. So it's got many uses, and it's very flexible for this kind of work. Yep. So that's why you got the gobo arm, so you can bring it right over. So literally the the microphone is right above the camera. So there you go.
Bill said, what do you think about a normal tripod with a boom attachment instead?
Yeah, that's interesting. When I was in Thailand, I did a shoot and with a tripod, and I put an adapter on it to hold a light, etc. So you're talking about a normal tripod, like a camera tripod there, Bill?
I think he's what he's talking about, yes.
Biggest problem is that again, I had a lightweight. What did I have? An umbrella with me, or a little light box, but it still got pushed over by the wind. And also the thing is with tripods, they won't go high enough. You need to bring them up higher somehow. So yeah, that's another issue with using a tripod. But in the pinch, you could use them. Like if you're only traveling with one stand, then yeah, maybe a tripod.
He said light stands, actually.
Okay, light stand actually. Yeah, so yeah, like normal light stands, that's what I shoot with normally when I go out. But I mean, you can't beat an assistant because an assistant will never fall over.
Yeah.
So if an assistant has actually got a light stand in the hand, so collapse the legs and have a light stand like an extension pole, for instance, and using it that way, that's very handy. Yeah, always try and find an assistant if you can. If you got any kind of stand, expect it to fall over, and so I would always recommend that you bring sandbags with you, and it's just one of those things where, I mean, yeah, it is heavier, and it weighs a little bit, but in the long run you'll be better off.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm not an assistant, says Lauren. Well, if you go down to Melbourne, you might become Bills.
I agree with Mark too, because if you're doing portraiture and that, then you'd be better off with an assistant holding the light stand or monopod that might be attached to it, or whatever. Yeah, because you're not going to worry about any wind blowing it over. Even if you're on, if you got sandbags over your top at the bottom of the legs of the light stand, I've seen many things blow over, even with sandbags, depending on what size modifier you got on. I mean, obviously, the bigger, the more it's going to become of a wind sail. So
yeah, it's been always the bane of a photographer to try and work out finding a way of how to secure stands. It is just what it is. It's unless you weigh them down, unless you've got an assistant there, it's going to fall over. Expect it to fall over. You are going to be. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had something falling over, Brett. Outdoors. It is. It is just one of, especially when you're doing a beach shoot or something. The wind gusts that come through are just unbelievable. I've heard of people, and I've used it once, where they use metal beauty dishes. Or you're doing, like non-diffused light, and you can use that as well, where you just got a reflector on. So if you know light and how to use it, then you could hypothetically get away with it. If you got I don't want to sound weird, but if you got models with good skin, then harsh light is not a problem.
Yep. Mike says, yep, that's what I do. Assistants can hold light stands against the wind or use them as booms. My most frequent means of location lighting. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and there you go, Mike. Everyone that's actually done that kind of shooting has got the experience to sort of, next time will do it differently. Next time I know better, I will not, let another umbrella fall over or something, and and the funniest thing is the heaviest part falls down first and hits the ground first, which is usually your strobe or your light, and it damages the back of the actual screens usually. So I mean, I wouldn't take a broncolor to a beach without an assistant. You know, like, I mean, if it's a Godox, there's honestly, it anything that stops me from shooting and slows me down is a problem and a hindrance. I did the last shoot on the beach I did with Whitney, and I used I thought I had used a diffuser, but it wasn't actually a diffuser. I had an assistant with me, and I also used just a normal reflector that actually comes with the Godox AD600, one of those reflector dishes, and I just used harsh light on her, and the images came up good.
Another good thing about the Godox AD600, you can use a hand little this extension of the, instead of using the actual, say, the AD600 or a big modifier, this can be put on a light stand or a pole, and the long cable just goes down to, so you can see how long this cable is.
Yeah.
I'm going up, and that goes to your AD600, and the weight sitting on it in a bag, a carry-on bag over your shoulder, or sitting on the ground. So you're reducing the weight from the modifier and the light, and either holding it by hand, as you can see how I'm holding it. That's one way of doing it instead of a light stand. Mike and I did a shoot with Bella down at South Bank one day, and we had this on it, and he didn't have to. I think it was Mike or somebody else, but anyhow, I remember we were using, and that was very handy. So that's
that's very, very lightweight. I've got one of these here, and it comes in the bag, and the assistant can strap it on them to hold the battery side and the actual the heavy part of the AD600, and then you've only got that light to hold up. So there's the bag that Brett is holding there. And hang on, I'll just bring this up, Brett. Okay, so there you go. So the bag has got a clear vision screen where you can look through and control it, etc., and you can see what's happening there. So that's the actual controller unit. So that weighs the most, and then the actual light is much lighter.
And then at the top is where the light comes through.
Yeah, exactly. I've got racing cars coming through here. Usually it's P-platers that come through here.
So you can carry that over your shoulder and have your light and your strobe actually there, and it's not on the stand. It's being carried over your shoulder, or you just sit it on the ground with the extension coming out from the back. So
And as Bill said here, I saw a solo photographer using a light stand with a shoot-through umbrella struggling a while back. Those things easily catch wind. Yeah, I mean, they're sails. Anything that's big and that can catch wind, that's the problem. I mean, again, if you know how to use light, you can use a reflective dish on a model. You just got to practice and get that right. Some people just use. Look, I mean, I've seen a photo shoot, a model shoot with an A1, just a strobe and not a strobe, just a flash, basically an A1 flash in a diffuser, and that was fine. And that's very lightweight and very, very easy to carry around. So it's just a matter of just getting your system right and working out what you need and what you don't need.
Yeah. So, any last questions, guys? Because we're coming up nearly 2 hours into the show, so we're getting longer and longer.
Yeah, I know, right? Wouldn't want to use harsh light or a good lens on me. Would bring out all my wrinkles. Yeah, look, I mean, I took some pictures of you, Riss, and I haven't published them. No, but I understand. Yeah, it's. I mean, look, have a look at me. You know, like, I mean, I wouldn't. You know, I would have to get the biggest softbox possible just to get me right. Mike Palmer at Riss Ashworth, no wrinkles on you.
Now, by the way, guys, could you give this show a like? And if you feel like to share this video to any other groups or whatever that you think maybe like to see our discussions and so forth, and click on subscribe and click on that bell. It would be much appreciated.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel, obviously, and get as many people involved as possible, and giving me the thumbs up and just giving me the subscribe to the channel, and you'll straight away get to see more and more good stuff coming out. So everyone's having a good old laugh about wrinkles here. Ouch. Laughing. Okay, so Mike Palmer is saying good night all, and he's going to bed early. Look, it's only 9 o'clock, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Good
worries.
thing,
No worries,
Mike. Hey, appreciate you coming in too.
Yeah,
Thanks.
okay, see you soon. Yeah, it's gonna be lights out for us in a minute as well. So, so everyone's laughing. See you, Mike.
So good night. Take care. Enjoy the rest of Mother's Day. If people having Mother's Day meal or something like, and a few drinks, and so back to you, Mark.
Yeah, I got to say thank you very much for all the awesome live viewers and commenting and asking questions. You know, because without you guys, we wouldn't be streaming this. I mean, obviously, it has to build up, and there has to be more and more people coming in and into the group, and it's going to be really interesting. So don't forget, we've got the Facebook pages and the Facebook groups. We've got our Instagram links. It's all down in the comment box. So just feel free to join up, and whoever joins me on Instagram, I will join them back.
Yep.
So there you go. Riss says day off tomorrow, and good on you, Riss. And thanks for yet another great show, Mark and Brett. And love these shows, says Riss. Well, good on you, Riss. And we're going to be doing this as much as we can every Sunday. And I'm in between. You might have seen that I've actually done another video concerning this little screwy thing. If you don't know what it is, go and have a look at my video, and you'll soon realise that Sony brings out some really important stuff for us. Okay, with that being said, everyone, have a beautiful rest of the evening before Monday starts up again, and we're back into the workforce. And whoever is staying at home, stay safe over the COVID period. And very soon we'll be hopefully starting up photo walks again, I hope. In 4 weeks' time or so, we just have to see what Sony is going to be doing, and how they're going to be reacting to the lowering of the.
We'll keep the groups updated as I'll hear from Sony and what's going on, and depending on what restrictions get lifted over the next 3 stages. But we'll let everybody in the group and be updated, and when things will start to happen again. So be patient.
Yeah, Riss, I hope your hand is going to be feeling much better soon. So more MRI results, etc. So night, Michelle. Hope you everyone had a nice Mother's Day, by the way. So have a great week. everyone, says Lauren. And with that, we're going to be doing the outro, and I hope everyone's going to switch back on next Sunday for more information and more goodies. So hang in there, guys, and hopefully everyone is going to be having a nice week. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye all.
And back to some tunes.
Take care now.